If you don't know already, I'm Laura from Front Office Rocks, and I had a question from somebody following me about the communication between the front and the back. How do we get good communication between the front and the back? And that's a really big question. So this person who keeps sending me these questions, great, and you know how to handle topics that are big. It's vital that we have really good communication between the front and the back. So I'm gonna answer that with two parts, all right? One is, let's talk about the purpose. Let's talk about the issues that we're having and why that needs to be fixed. And then secondly, let's talk about the systems that you need in your practice. So first of all, let's talk about the purpose and the why. Many dental offices do not have good communication between the front and the back because they run very departmentalized. The assistants hang out with the assistants and they only see the world from the assistant view. The hygienists are with the hygiene team and they only see it from the hygiene view. The front office team we're the front office team and we only see it from our glasses, our perspective. And we don't understand and see things from other departments' views, okay? And so what happens then is communication breaks down between departments because we feel like our job is the hardest. We feel like we have the most important thing. We feel like nobody tells us anything and we kind of become our own little club or group and we don't see things from the other team's perspective. So one of the main reasons that communication doesn't flow well between front and back in a lot of offices is because that part hasn't been fixed. We need to address this issue and we need to talk about it with the team. I've written multiple articles on this. I have videos on Front Office Rocks about this specifically because until you walk a mile in my shoes, right? Until you see it from my perspective, what I need to do to get my job done, what part of the patient experience I handle, until you think about it from my perspective, you're never gonna give me the information I need to know. You're not gonna communicate with me the way I need to know. So walk a mile in my shoes, that idea is you need to see it from my perspective. You need to see it from my point of view. And a lot of times I say walk a mile in my shoes and dentists and dental offices think that means cross-training. Cross-training is great, right? I need the front to know what the back does, the back to know what the front does so they can jump in and help each other out. But that's not my point with this. My point with walk a mile in my shoes is just to see from my perspective how hard it is and what I need to make my job more efficient and effective. You know, we all have tough jobs. We all have stress. We all have patients that can drive us crazy and schedules that are just insane. And if we aren't working together to try to get through that, then we're working against each other, all right? So my first thing would just find a way, get one of the articles from my team, go to LiveChat on my team and ask them for some help with this. Subscribe to Front Office Rocks and watch some videos. But let's first start addressing how we can work better as a team. Because if you actually look at the patient care, you know, the taking care of a patient from beginning to end, we can't do it with just the front office. You can't do it with just the assistants. We all play a part in taking care of our patients. So let's work together on that and not against each other. So if you're gonna improve the communication between the front and the back, let's deal with the root issue first, which is let's talk about why we need to work together. What's important about us communicating well and the purpose behind it. And ultimately, the purpose is to take care of our patients. It's patient care. Right? Patients don't know if you're a good dentist or not, but they know how they feel when they're in the office. And if they don't feel like you're communicating well, if they feel like there's drama between departments, if they feel like there's people dropping the ball, they're gonna question your dentistry, which is ultimately not what we want. So we wanna make sure that patient care is first and foremost, and we need to work together as a team to give that amazing patient care. The second thing then is your systems. You need to have systems in place and you need to train on those systems to make sure the communication works well. So number one thing that I say when it comes to communication is huddle. Morning huddle is the best way to get everybody on the same page and everybody communicating about what's going to happen throughout that day. So having a morning huddle, and a morning huddle is not standing around talking about what we did last night for dinner, talking about our kids. It's not just going through the production for the day. There's an actual system to a morning huddle that you need to follow to make sure that you're communicating on the things that need to be said or talked about. The next is handoffs. We need to get better at handoffs. And a handoff is not just me walking a patient up with a route sheet saying here, or I'm done with a patient, you're next. There's an actual procedure system to a handoff. What's communicated? What questions does the person receiving the handoff have? Making sure that the patient understands, making sure everybody's on the same page, and getting an agreement from the patient that the next person is taking over. So handoffs are huge. So there's morning huddle, there's handoffs, and then there's team meetings. Okay. Team meetings shouldn't be, and I don't know if I could say this on YouTube, but a bitch session. Team meetings are a time when we can get our heads out of the patient's mouths. We can really come together as a team, and we can talk about things going on, things we want to improve, issues, concerns, new ideas, implementation of new technology, like really using the team meeting to get everybody on the same page. And not just scheduling through team meetings and not having them, or having one person talk about numbers the whole time and everybody else is just bored out of their mind. Really using the team meeting as a time to keep everybody together and connected. So there's an outline for team meetings. There's a way to run team meetings. There needs to be an agenda for a team meeting and an agreement at the team meeting. So those would be the three things that I think would really help to connect the front and the back. Which is, morning huddles, getting everybody on the same page, knowing what our purpose is, morning huddles, handoffs, and then your team meeting. And then lastly, if you're watching this and you're a dentist, it's leadership, or office manager, it's leadership, really making sure that you lead by example. Communication, systems, policies, those have to happen, because if they don't, then we're just kind of all running haphazardly. Not that we're not doing a good job, but we're just kind of working in our own area. We need to expand that to the team, and a team needs a good leader who understands this, who fosters this, who develops a culture to help with good communication between the front and the back. So that would be my suggestion. We have help for all this on Front Office Rocks. So if you need videos and outlines and all of that, that's why I've developed Front Office Rocks, because I know you're not alone with this. This happens in the majority of dental offices. So I would definitely kind of take that back, see if you can look at what's going on in your practice and where you need to start. If you need more from me on specifics, put comments in this video. Let me know what questions you have, and I'll try to address them in the future. And I thank you for that. So I hope you guys can hear me better. I heard some feedback early on. It was kind of hard to hear me. I hope these videos are going great. I would love to know your comments, your questions, your suggestions, and I would love for you to share this. I really want to build a community. I would love to double the amount of followers that we have in our industry, because I think that this is good stuff that we're talking about, and I appreciate your guys' support in that. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram and all that. I add new stuff there all the time. Reach out to my team if you have any questions, and get in there and start communicating with your team. So thanks, guys. Have an amazing day.